Now there was a question, or actually a comment on my channel recently about uh, groups and roles. Now it is a very common suggestion from people to prefer using project roles in Jira, not groups. And there are a lot of differences, I should say, there are a lot of benefits of using project roles. And I have made a video, and this was actually a comment on my video where I talked about why you should be using project roles instead of groups. But the comment was, uh, I mean, the person was asking, can you please share the scenarios when groups are preferred over roles? So I was thinking, it's a good question, although it's very simple, and I was thinking, how should I answer it? Now, first of all, when you talk about groups in Jira, group is nothing but, as the name suggests, it is nothing but a group of users. So basically, whenever you have to do something with multiple people together in Jira, then group makes sense. But you can also do things with project roles. Now, when to use groups over project roles? Well, things where you're doing something globally, not at the project level. So in Jira, there is a concept of I'll probably go to the global permissions, and I'll try to explain. So if you go to your Jira instance, and this is of course applicable not only on server but also on cloud. I'm on cloud right now. So usually, when you have to do something globally, like all across your Jira instance, there are some permissions that will define who will do what, like who can be your Jira uh, administrator, who can be your who can browse other users and groups, who can share dashboard, who can manage group filter subscriptions, and who can make bulk changes, along with um, who can create a next gen project. Now, of course, this is applicable only on the cloud, which should be now replaced by, I guess, team managed projects. Now, if you look here, these permissions will define things that are applicable uh, across Jira instance, irrespective of the project. There are things like giving access to users based on their groups, giving access to the user for a specific application. Maybe you want certain people to be maybe you want certain people to log into Jira, certain people to basically access or be part of Jira software or Jira service management. Now, these things are of course not related to a specific project. Now, when it comes to projects, then you have the option uh, to define permission schemes. So let us take a look at the permission schemes. And when you are looking at permission schemes, the thing is that this is of course for the administrators, not really for it will eventually impact or it will basically affect how users will be onboarded, for example. So if you go to the permission scheme, I'll try to open one of the permission scheme, and because I'm on cloud, I may not be able to modify it, but I can show you. I guess. So if I take a look at this permission for a specific this permission scheme for a specific permission scheme which is applicable on one project. Now you have things like who can administer a project. So people who are part of this particular permission, they will be project administrators who want to access the project. If you're not part of this particular permission, then you cannot access the project. Now these permissions, as you can see, by default, if you create a project using a template, these permissions are usually given to a project role, and the reason is, and this is also you should be doing, if you let us say make a group here instead of okay, I think I need to get rid of this IntelliJ. Let me just okay, we are back. So if you have to let us say give this permission, browse project permission to someone, then that someone could be an individual user, but it has to be managed by the Jira administrator. So if you are a project administrator of a project A, B, C, whatever, and you want to maybe give access to your project or anything that they can do in the project to someone, then you need to chase the Jira administrator. But if you have those permissions assigned to, let us say, a role which is usually like a developer or QA or whatever role that you may have here assigned to that particular permission, then you as a project administrator can add users to that particular role. And it is like building your own team. And this is of course applicable for I mean, you can reuse the same permission scheme on 10 different projects, but based on who are part of that particular role in that project, this permission will be given to that person in that project. So this is the advantage of project role, which I of course talked about in my video where the person commented. But here, if you're using groups, then it will be the Jira administrator. But whenever it comes to whenever it comes to doing something above the project level, like across your Jira instance, then using a group makes sense, especially when you are, especially when you have a Jira instance which is linked to an LDAP, for example. Then LDAP or any directory that you may have in the organization, then those people and the groups can be brought, can be synced with your Jira instance. Now, again, you can have a simple list of users in Jira, or you can have those users part of a specific group, and based on that group, your Jira administrators will probably define which group will get the permission to access Jira software project, or to basically do something in Jira software project or Jira service management project. But whatever happens below that level, like at the project level, it can be easily managed with the project role using the permission scheme. And try to use project roles wherever you can. And this is I'm saying this for Jira administrators. Try to try to promote the usage of project roles, because it will make your life a lot easier, and it will also make your project administrators, your project managers happy, because they can do things quickly. They won't rely on you to make a change, to add a person to a group. And although I talked about these things in the past, but because there was a question, and sometimes you're not really sure how to explain it properly, so I thought I'll probably give it one more try. This time I wanted to focus on why you should and when you should be using groups instead of roles. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.